Hello, everyone. We are into our 6th episode in Unbridled Unity. And Unbridled Unity, just a quick recap, is about the horse and woman's responsibilities. The first 4 responsibilities, which were the first 4 episodes, were all about the woman. And now we are into the 6th episode, which is going to be the 4th responsibility for the horse. And it is all about the horse's gait. And this is I really like this responsibility because it is the horse's responsibility to maintain their gait. However, we are the leader, so it is ultimately our responsibility to make sure that we have set our horses up for success in learning to understand their responsibilities and maintain their responsibilities. What do I mean by that? Well, when I'm working with a horse on the ground, and I'm going to use doing circles because it's easier to describe, or doing the 8 pattern because there's so much we can do with our horses on the ground that we would want to keep all these responsibilities in action as well. But the circle and the 8 are easy to talk about. So that's why I'm picking them. So if I put my horse out on a circle at a walk, I expect him to maintain that gait until I ask him to pick up a different gait or to stop. Now, this is where it gets tricky. If you are not completely confident that your horse is going to do what you're asking him to do, you may keep telling him what to do with your training stick. God forbid you're using a lunge whip, but maybe you are, and that's a topic for another day. But you're telling them to keep going. That is not allowing them to uphold their responsibility. We, as the leader, have to trust that our partners are going to maintain their responsibility. So when I put my horse out on the circle at a walk and he's doing it, I shut up. I stay connected with him. I keep my energy up at a walk. My focus is on where we're going. And if he changes gait by going faster or stopping, then and only then do I tell him to pick up that gait again. And when I ask my horse to go out into a trot, I will ask them. Now, if I'm riding them, I'm going to be giving them the cues. I'm going to put my focus out. I'm going to do all my responsibilities and communicate with my horse through my body, not my legs, unless he ignores my body language. And if he's going too fast, not with my hands, unless he's ignoring my body language. But if he picks up a trot when I didn't ask for it, something needs to show up, or he doesn't know he's doing it wrong. And he has broken, he has he has failed, no, not failed. He is no longer maintaining his responsibility because I put him out on a gate and it's his job to maintain it. So I have to remind him, I have to let him know, hey, remember you were at this gate. Now, remember one of our golden rules of pressure motivates, but it's the release that teaches. So if you're one of those people, one of those women who uses a whip, God forbid, or a training stick, yes, and you keep holding it up and you keep, moving it behind them while they're walking, you are micromanaging. 1. 2, you are desensitizing them to pressure motivates, but it's the release that teaches. So as soon as your horse picks up that gait that they're supposed to be in, you got to shut up. You got to go to what I call neutral and let your horse do his job while you do yours. And then when you ask them up, you're ready to ask them up to a trot, then and only then you pick up your energy and you let them know you're ready to make a transition. And if they don't make the transition, then you give more pressure to get them into that trot. And as soon as they stride out into that trot, shut up. That's the release that teaches. But when I say shut up, don't let your energy die, because they're reading your body language. So if you let your energy die, then they're just going to go flat, and then you're going to have to tell them to go again when it is their fault, but it's more your fault because they're reading your energy. So you have to know what you're saying with your body language and your focus. I watch a lot of women not riding with their horses or not working on the ground with their horses. Their energy is like flatlined and they can't understand why they can't motivate their horse. So you have to learn to get animated. You have to learn to bring your energy up and then bring it down and see how active and animated I am, because they read that energy. So it's not just that I'm moving around a lot. I am playing with my energy. I am sending my energy to you, and now I'm pulling it back. I'm sending it to my horse, and now I'm pulling it back, but I'm staying with them. This is important stuff, and it's big stuff, and a lot of people don't understand it. And you can watch videos with it. And if you're good, if you're a visual learner, that can be really good for you. But I encourage you to get a coach, someone like me or me. I do work with women online, and they're in other states. But I'm still teaching them, I'm still showing them, I'm still helping them to learn how to manage their energy. Because if you don't know how to bring your energy up and down and bring it up and maintain it at that rhythm of what you want your horse to be in, you're going to have to be using your legs. You're going to have to be using your tools on the ground. You're going to have to be pulling on their mouth more than you want to, because we need to learn to ride with our horses. We need to learn to engage with our horses, not just standing telling them what to do. So when we get a horse to maintain their gait, we bring up our energy, bring up our focus. They feel us. We get out of rhythm with them, whether we're on the ground or in the saddle. And horses are rhythmic beings, and they don't like that out of rhythm. So they will do what they can to match our rhythm, aka pick up their speed or slow down. So once they've picked it up, we ride with them. We can't ask our horses to trot and then sit heavy. We have to ride that trot with them, because if we don't, they're going to keep stopping. And then we have to keep kicking. The other thing is pressure motivates, release teaches. So once we get them up into that trot, we ride the trot, but we don't keep touching them with our legs. Because again, you're desensitizing them to what pressure means. The better you can get at learning your pressure and your release and getting good at quick releases, the more your horse is going to understand the concept of pressure and release. And I should rephrase that, because they already understand pressure and release, because that's what they do with each other. That's how they communicate and get each other moving around and knowing when that they don't have to move anymore. So they understand pressure and release, but what they don't understand is how to really engage it with the human, because humans don't understand it. It's taken me a lot of years to understand pressure motivates, release teaches, and how to get masterful at that. And I will always be striving towards my mastery of horsemanship. So I'm better than I was, but not as good as I'm gonna be. We are often, women are often not really super confident in what they're doing with their horse. And I have so many women that I work with, or that I just witness riding when I'm out teaching others, that they struggle to get their horses to uphold this responsibility. And they get super frustrated. And most of them struggle with getting their horse to go change to upward transitions, to go faster. And then when they get them to go faster, they struggle to keep them in that new gait. And then they blame the horse. Unless they're learning, then it's very rarely about the horse. It's usually always about us. And I say very rarely because sometimes our horses have issues. They have a sore back, they have a sore leg, they have a sore hoof, they have a sore neck, whatever, Sometimes they do have a reason, but most of the time it's human error. And that's the good news and the bad news. Because the bad news is it means it's you or us, not them. And the good news is it's us, not them, which means it's easier sometimes to fix us than it is to figure out how to fix them on their own. But what I have found to be true, I always like to prove things to be true. I don't just like to hear it from somebody and go, oh, that's the truth. I want to put it to the test. I want to prove it to be true in my practice with my horses, and then make it my own. So now I lost where I was going with that. Oh, if it's us, not them, what I have found in my program and working with women and working with all the horses I work with is that if we can figure it out in us, mentally, emotionally, physically, and have our heart wide open to connect our horses and let them feel the real us, if we can figure it out within us, all of us, mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually, and we apply it in our bodies and our minds and our emotions, like excited and certain and focused on what I'm looking for, and then doing in my body what I need to do, my horse will mirror me and they will maintain that responsibility. Unless I get distracted and I lose it within me, they feel that disconnect, and then they'll think that we're asking for a change because they read our body language, and then they will break gait and we'll get frustrated. So what I would like for you guys to really get out of this episode is a lot of awareness in the dynamics of the two of you, but mostly the awareness in you. Even though I said it's the horse's responsibility to maintain the gait, you're the leader. So it's your responsibility to provide the environment in which they can do that and to work with them, not against them. So when you ask them to do something by applying pressure, and you're applying pressure and you're applying pressure and they're not doing it, don't stop applying the pressure. I see that all the time on the ground and in the saddle, and you're confusing your horse. I get why you're stopping, but you're stopping because it's not working and you're getting tired and you're getting frustrated. But when you stop applying pressure, that's what's teaching them. So if you're kicking your horse to go faster and they're not, and you stop, you have just told them that that's what you want. So it doesn't mean kick the shit out of your horses or smack the heck out of them with a tool. It means do more. Get your energy up higher. Some women, especially in the English realm, ride with a crop. Okay, if that's how you make your horse go, then use your crop. But don't stop until they move in the direction you want them to go. There's some horses that I ride with spurs and some horses I don't. It depends on their level of sensitivity. Now, when I'm using spurs and I'm asking a horse to change gait, I'm not spurring them harder. I'm just spurring them consistently until I motivate them to make a change. But it never gets harder. It just never goes away until they move that 1 foot. They move that 1 foot, or they pick up that one stride of a trot. The pressure shuts up. And I ride with them. And I ride that trot. One of the things I teach my students is, horses are rhythmic animals, and when we're going through walk, trots, canters, we need to know how to stay in rhythm with them. So we all know what it feels like, unless you're brand new, and that will take time to find the balance. But for those of us who know what it feels like to be in rhythm at a walk, to be in rhythm at a trot, to be in rhythm at a canter, you need to really know what that feels like in your body. And I will actually, when I'm sitting watching TV or I'm driving or before I go to sleep, I will literally imagine that I'm sitting on one of my horses going through my transitions, and what does my body do? What's the rhythm in my body for each one of those gaits? Because once your horse changes their gait, it's no longer the pressure that keeps them motivated. It's your focus and your energy matching the rhythm of the walk or the trot or the canter, and the drive in your seat that keeps them going. So practice that when you're not in the saddle. So, and It was practice it when you're not in the saddle, but when you are in the saddle, really feel it and feel what it feels like. You'll hear people say you're behind them or you're in front of them at these trots and these canters. It's very rarely that they'll say that at a walk, but you can still be behind them or in front of them, which simply said means you are not in rhythm with your horse. And if you're not in rhythm with your horse, it's easier for your horse to stop or try and match your rhythm than help you figure out how to match theirs. That's your responsibility. That's the second responsibility of the human. Have a balanced seat. That's what that means. So, recapping on this responsibility, you as the leader decide which gait you want your horse to be moving in. It's your responsibility to communicate that clearly to them and to have a balanced seat with them, or a balanced rhythm if you're working them on the ground. But it's their responsibility to maintain it once you've asked them to change it. It's their job to maintain it until you ask them to do something different. And the way that they know they're doing it right is when they hit the gait you want, stop telling them what to do and ride with them. This is a big one. This is one that very few of my students have really learned how to uphold their part in helping their horse maintain this responsibility. So it's a big one. And it's one that takes practice, and I love this. It takes the focus, feel, timing, and balance within us to help our horses know their responsibilities and to help them uphold their responsibilities. I would love to hear your comments or your questions in the comments section. And I would also love to know what you think about all of this series, these responsibilities that we have and that they have. Have you ever thought about it? If so, do you apply it? If yes, how's it going for you? Do you have any questions? Any confusions, any any suggestions? We'd love to hear. How are you making these things happen? And if you don't understand it, then ask questions in the comments, because there's a good chance that somebody else may not understand it as well. All right, you guys, it was a wonderful episode. At least for me, because I love talking about this. Our next episode, we're going to be talking about the horse's third responsibility, and it has to do with direction. All right, everybody. Take care. Enjoy your horses. I hope you are out there having fun in this gorgeous spring weather. And I will see you next week.